Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Marcus Rideout here. I've got a very special guest for you today. This is my friend Chad, and Chad is a business owner here in Alberta, Canada. He runs a health and wellness clinic. Is that a fair assessment of what you guys do?
Fair.
Yeah, so he runs a really cool organization. They do all kinds of things like massage, acupuncture. What other things do you guys do?
We got yoga. I got my own yoga studio where we do 40 different classes a week, and people love that. And then we're also opening up our own spin studio as well too, so all the spinsters out there can take 25 classes that we have available each week. And we have a doula cooperative as well too that we interact with, so we're doing quite on.
Yeah, so Chad runs a pretty big operation here, and the reason I wanted to have him on camera to talk with you guys today is to give a little bit of a behind-the-scenes perspective from that of a business owner, somebody who runs a professional business. You've got a massive team, you've got tons of people who work for you. You're always advertising, you're doing all kinds of things, and to give some of the video makers who are watching this a little bit of perspective, because if you guys are going out there and you're constantly struggling, or you're hitting up with people who just don't have the budget to do projects even for more than like $300, for example, like they're not running a business where they're on that marketing scale. Like you have to do a lot of work to get to a point where you're advertising and things like that. But Chad, I wanted to have him talk to you guys about like some of the things that go through his mind as a business owner who has a monthly advertising budget, who's hired my team to do professional videos, and and tell a little bit about that experience. So Chad, what would you like to say to the folks who are video makers trying to figure this thing out?
Well, this is coming from experience, obviously. When we first started out, we were making kind of, rough videos where we'd set up a tripod in the corner and we'd just kind of let people go on it, which is great when you're starting out. But, I mean, obviously, if you're a business owner, you're quite focused on branding. And the one thing that you're always looking at is how do I present myself, or how do I look to the general public? And, there comes a point to where you consider yourself, okay, well, the ground level stuff is good, but our branding needs to come up to another degree. And that's when we look at hiring professionals like Marcus to kind of come in and actually spiff up the kind of video to where we actually have proper sound, a proper video, and he can see things behind the camera that we can't just because of his experience. So as a business owner out there, I mean, like I said, branding is really important, and you'll notice that once you actually have a professional video person and actually taking care of your brand to where it's like, oh man, this is way better. Like the lighting's better, the sound's like not even close to what a phone would be like.
I want to ask you this because this is a really cool story, and I remember this, and maybe you'll remember it too. When you were doing videos before, your wife, who works at the studio, wanted to kill you. Was that correct? In terms of how, like compared to what we ended up doing, like we ended up scripting for about a month because he's busy. It's not like we're sitting writing scripts all day, 8 hours a day. But amongst time when Chad was available to work on the scripts for the marketing side of it, what was that process like from before you brought in a professional, when you were trying to do it all yourself? What was the moment where you realized you needed to work with a team of people who do this for a living?
That point actually came really easy because I had to actually get in one of those Thor shields. My wife was shooting arrows at me, and I had to kind of ricochet off at her. Once you get in a professional, I mean, if you have any issues with staff, or if you have any issues with people, I mean, they're also the intermediary to where this doesn't look right, or why don't we try this question? Rather than just, if you're rattling back and forth and, well, what do you think? Well,
you were holding like a piece of paper with the words for her to say.
Yeah, that's
she
right.
was trying to get the takes right. And she was ready to strangle you.
She can't see it, so she's kind of looking at that. Like,
and
you could tell.
You could tell when you watch these videos, too. Like, the difference is kind of like, you'd grown your business to such a point where it was like, this cannot be what represents us. You've just gone through a big overhaul on your website. You've got the mobile app where people book all their sessions, things like that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, guys, there are lots of business leaders in your community that you can help and you can serve, and that need this expertise, or the people who do the creative stuff like we do, to come in and help them create their vision on camera. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say, yeah, Marcus. Like, and you also have to think of the video portion. Everybody does video nowadays, and that's an investment more than a cost nowadays. When people see oh, we got to hire this video guy, oh, that's going to be a major cost, I don't want to pay for that. Well, it's not really a cost anymore. It's more of an investment. It's an investment in your business, and it's more of an investment into your brand, to where it's going to cost us a bit more money, but like, what are we presenting to the public? And when you present a little more professionalism to the public, they're going to take you back as like, oh, these guys are actually a little more serious at what they do, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. And like, again, for perspective, how many people were on your staff, or if you mind answering that? Like, it's a big operation you're doing.
Yeah,
right? This is a real.
We currently have around 53 in staff right now, and we're probably going to be increasing that by the end of the year, just because of all the spin instructors going to be hiring. So we got about 53.
Yeah, and when we did the videos, so my team and I did videos for Chad about 2 years ago, and I think you only had like 25 people on team at that point. And if you guys didn't catch what he said, like rewind and listen to the words coming out of his mouth, because you view it as an investment. Talk about what it's been like. It's been 2 years since we recorded the videos. What have you observed as somebody who's like, you've made the investment, you bought into the belief that video is the way to carry my brand forward. What sort of things have you noticed since you started launching those videos?
Well, once we started launching the videos, it was almost direct when people were coming in, because we did a fire cupping video, for example, and people were coming in specifically asking for fire cupping. Now, if people know fire cupping, or if they don't, it's a form of cupping that you put on your skin or your
suction
body.
Cups that go on with a flame that sucks
and then
it through.
you kind of work it. It's kind of like a massage kind of thing. And
I can throw video over top so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's not really common, but I thought it would be really catchy for a video. And once we threw that out, I mean, it went really viral really quick, and people came in asking for fire cupping, to where we knew people just don't come in asking for that. It's because of that video. We shot that out. We're like, this is going to be visually cool.
Yeah.
Shoot it out, and people are like, oh yeah, do you guys do fire cupping as well too? Can I get in on a treatment like that? And we knew right then, where it's like, yeah, thanks Marcus,
awesome.
we owe you one on that one there.
That was cool too. Yeah. And the other thing too was like, Chad had a lot of ideas visually. So when we were in the pre-production phase, it wasn't like I just came in and I was like the super genius who was like, here's all the videos we're doing and everything that has to be done. A lot of it was the conversation and the collaboration and things like that. What was that process like for you, dude?
Well, it's good, yeah. I mean, as a business owner, you kind of want to go in with, shooting some video with some ideas or some kind of goals to kind of get out of it. You're not going to blanket shoot some stuff and hope some magic.
Especially when you have a
out
budget,
of it.
you're putting like money into professional video production.
Yeah, so you got to kind of go in there with a goal and kind of a set structure. But, as you kind of go through things, as long as you follow that structure, I mean, when you have a professional that's kind of in it as well, too, like Marcus, it kind of, shoot stuff out at you to where, well, why don't we try this, or can you talk a little more on this, or dally a little more on this, or I really like this shot, let's try and transition this to something into the next scene or something like that. Where if I was doing it just by myself, I wouldn't really kind of recognize that we kind of can behind the camera.
How was it having somebody like, and I kind of know the answers to this because I was part of that conversation, and sorry for the noise, guys, we're just in a busy place right now, so you're just going to have to live with it. We're not doing a professional studio shoot here. So what was it like from the scripting process because I know we said this and you did a little like review for my company, and you were talking about like having somebody come into an industry where it's not really commonly talked about. Like, what was that process like, having somebody who's a creative like you guys who are video makers, you obsess about this stuff, you think about how do we connect to the audience on the other side. What was that like for you as a business owner, having someone on your team like that?
Well, it was good because, like I said, you get a different perspective, and when you're a business owner, you're kind of trying to think of, okay, how am I going to sell, and how am I going to present this and do this, and you kind of want to put a tool belt on of every trick of the trade that you can kind of shoot out there. But when you have a professional on your side, they're going to kind of lower your machine gun and prop you up with two good pistols instead, to where you're kind of more focused on let's try this instead
of
let's
pray
do
and
this.
Spray, it's like let's get targeted and snipe some shots off
exactly.
here.
Yeah, so I mean, once you kind of get a guy that kind of knows what he's doing behind the scenes on it, not only is it more time effective for a business owner like myself, but it's also it's more cost effective because you can target ads more effectively and cheaper. And Marcus can kind of steer you in the way that I think this would catch better online versus sell, because obviously Marcus is producing videos every day, and he knows based on what goes viral and what doesn't. And if he thinks, well, this might be a little better of a catch, then let's try this way.
From hooking the audience sort of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
I think something that I'm really want to hear a bit more about too, because this is something a lot of video people struggle with until you start selling to clients and they start doing your work and you start building these case studies just from doing it. Like, a lot of people worry like, oh, how do I justify the value of my work? What do you feel like the value of the video project that was created for you? How has that panned out over the past 2 years? I want to talk a little bit more about that investment side of it and share some more of the investor, how a business owner thinks about investing in these sort of things. Because like you said, it's an asset that works for you now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to think of that when you're doing video and you're putting out content, people are looking at it and they're grabbing it and they're being like, oh, okay. One of the things you have to always remember as a business owner, people have to see your brand around 9 times before they actually make a purchase. So you got to be everywhere. You got to be in, on Facebook. You got to have Google ads.
Back of buses.
Yeah, back of buses. You got to put yourself out on Instagram. I mean, you got to be all over the place, right? So the more people are seeing your branding, the more they're likely to purchase your product, be whatever it might be, right?
Creating those contact points.
Yeah, absolutely. So, keeping that in mind, you also have to value your time as a business owner as well, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting calls all the time where you're a home theater installer and they're asking the basic questions to where, oh man, this is dredging me on.
Answering this every day.
Answering this every day. Having just some video on your website or just shooting stuff out there to be like, oh no, we've answered that question online. Have a look at it. And that'll engages people a little more to be like, oh yeah, I do like that new 4K TV.
Yeah.
What about this or that, right? So
you said something very powerful there, guys, that when you're around business, and I like to call people like Chad and other clients that I've worked with, they're more like business leaders because they have a bigger vision. They're not just like, I built this accounting firm because I was good at accounting and damn it, I'm going to do this till I die and it sucks. You value your time. You said it right there. Like you're not just selling videos, you're selling time, you're selling relationships so they can nurture to their clients and their existing database of customers. You're helping them make money. I mean, I know you said, I remember you called me after I moved to Kelowna and you're like, dude, we had like record sales of yoga and all I did was add the video and I ran some ads on Facebook or something like that. I think you said you had like 80% more people coming in 1 month and that's all you did was add a video.
Yeah, we had like this massive spike in our yoga and we're like, wow, like not only is this amazing, but yeah, it truly is an investment. Like, how do you not calculate an ROI as a business owner to be like, yeah, we threw out this video, it cost us a bit of money, but all of a sudden we get massive traffic. And on top of that, you got to think of, okay, well, how else can we use this? And we can use this later on down the road. I mean, it is an asset. Video
You've been using it for 2 years, man.
Yeah,
You've made your money back way before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is an asset, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's if there was any tips you could give people when they're going into these meetings with people like you, these business leaders who, you think like this and you're very busy, but you also know that there's the investment side, anything or advice you could share that maybe would take some of the pressure off the video people so they can be a little more confident when they go into these meetings, understanding their value and just realizing like they've got something worth sharing?
So yeah, if you're a video person, you're coming in and you're talking to a business owner, we are relying on you guys as being the expert in the situation. We kind of want your, as a business owner, I'm good at the health end, but as a videographer, I rely on you on the video end. So take a little bit of direction, give a little judgment on, I think this might look better, or I like this, how this might shoot better. It's a two-way street. I mean, you got to talk with your client and you got to talk with the person involved because, I mean, they have goals and objectives. I have goals and objectives as well too, right? But we also rely on each other to kind of, co-interact to where we're going to make this mutually beneficial. Yeah. And when it is mutually beneficial, then, I mean, you're as good as gold in our books, right?
Yeah.
So,
like, Chad didn't bring me in just to micromanage me on set and say, like, lights go here, camera goes there, they have to say this. Like, you were kind of like sitting on a couch just relaxing for most of it. Once it was rolling and all we did the work, the majority of the heavy lifting and pre-production, when it came to actually shooting, you're just like, I'm just chilling, hanging out. What was that like for you? Like, again, keeping in mind, guys, if you're going into this, like, be as smart as possible so you can make it easier for your clients and they can just rest at ease knowing that, hey, we're spending 2 days here and this is going to be smooth as butter.
Yeah, go in with a plan, talk with your client beforehand to make sure that you kind of have an idea of what the goals are. And then once you kind of get in, set everything up, start rattling off stuff. And as long as, you guys are doing your job where you're setting up everything and, it's sit in front of the camera and start chatting kind of thing. That's kind of what we're looking for. And, the hard stuff behind the scenes is what we kind of rely on you guys for.
Yeah.
And we're just here to kind of take direction on what's going to work best for seeing that.
This is a hypothetical question, and I didn't even prep you for this one beforehand, but what impact does perception of the value you're getting from a video maker, how does that contrast based on the price? If someone came and pitched you, we're going to do all these videos and it's going to be $500, or someone came in and pitched you like I did, like these higher end stuff, how do you view that? Like, because a lot of people want to just like, I got to lower my rate so they'll say yes.
Okay, so for business owners that really understand value, the dumbest thing you can do is to cut your rates lower because everybody else is cutting their rates, or I'm not getting business, so I gotta cut my rates. in a business sense, that's the dumbest thing you can do because it's the easiest thing you can do. And most people, when they're cornered, they don't know what they're doing. Well, let's just drop my rates because I don't have enough business, right?
Yeah.
It's totally what you don't do. What you want to do is, if you're not getting business, you want to target a different area. You want to target a different genre. And when a person comes in and they say, you know what, I'm an expert at this, I do really well at this, check out some of my stuff that I've done, your work should speak for yourself. I mean, the same with like photography as well too. I mean, you can get some Joe Blow off the street who took
someone's cousin
a
or something.
$5 course snapping photos, but I mean, for example, when you get your wedding photos done, I mean, you're not scared to pay that extra cost for a professional photographer that's going to make you guys look good on, you know, the one special day of the year, right?
Yeah.
Same with video. You know, when you hire a guy that, you know, might charge a little extra because he's focused in this area, he's got more experience. Business owners are happy to pay that because, again, video is an asset. We look at this as an investment for people that believe in it. And as long as you can justify, you know, well, I'm more skilled in this area, or I'm more skilled at this versus this, and this is why I charge X amount for this versus the other guys, right? As long as you can justify it and you kind of back that up with claims, cost, you know, is really secondary as opposed to product or quality.
Yeah. And I think there's one thing, like, to growing from, like I said, the 25 or so to over 50 staff now, like, you look for the best people in their trade. You want the best masseuse, you want the best acupuncture. You don't want to like have like second rate, because that directly affects your bottom line. It affects your customer's experience. So there's no value in you trying to be the discount guy. Like you're literally telling these people, is this a fair comment, that you want to position yourself to be the best because there are people who look for the best and they want to hire the best. Is that a fair comment?
100%. The people that are the best target the best. They want to work with the best. I mean, I'm not the best video person in the world. I'm not the best accountant in the world, but I know who to contact to get those answers. Or I know who to contact to interact with them so I can get the best answers. And if you're instructing video, who do you think's the best guy to represent my brand? Oh, I know it's Marcus. It's you. It's whoever, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's really cool, man. Well, thank you for your time. I think, guys, if there's one thing I really want to stress here as well, like, you can rewatch this and get what you need to get from. There's plenty of like just knowledge bombs that's going to drop to here and gold nuggets, so to say. I think something that a lot of people forget about, and they get so caught up in the business side of things that they forget we're just human beings. Yeah. We're dudes. We talk about normal stuff. Is there anything that you would say to maybe help people like just chill a little bit, not over stress, overthink about what that experience is like, and especially when it comes to like working with someone like you, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a video person looking to work with a person like me, I mean, we're shot with high stress situations each and every day. And there's a really great book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, which I refer to quite often when it comes to people. Leaning on people who you believe is going to be the best in their field is key for a business owner to go from 25 to 50 people. You have to rely on people who you believe are really great at what they do. And as long as they can kind of deliver on their promise, that is like 90% of the battle of trying to scale to actually get to where you're from 25 to 50 to 100 people. So for one thing that I can say is present yourself as a professional and be confident in what you do, be whatever video line that you want to be shooting for as well too. The next thing is obviously remain calm behind the scenes as well too. If I start freaking out, or if you start freaking out behind the scenes, it's going to cause me to freak out, which just creates a disaster for the entire situation, right? So keeping a calm, cool head. Communication. If if we're not seeing eye to eye, if we think something's not working, talking it out, you can always kind of come to an understanding so that the situation can kind of be brought back to normal, so to speak. But no, I mean it's people. Business is people dealing with people. You're always dealing with people.
Yeah.
So as long as you can kind of communicate and say, what do we need in this situation? How can we better this? You're always going to come out ahead.
Yeah.
So.
So there you go, guys. That's a behind-the-scenes perspective with a business owner. Chad, thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you, Marcus.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you found this to be helpful, leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube show. And if you struggle with how to sell your services, grab a copy of my book. There's a link to it down below. It's called Video Selling Formula. It's going to walk you through the exact process of how to run a sales meeting. It's probably the exact same process I used on Chad when he said yes, with the exact questions to ask. Because when you go into a sales meeting, it's not just about like you justifying your rate and why they need to hire you, but it's about this journey of discovery and finding out like what's an owner's goals, like Chad's, what are the pain points, what's holding him back from having success right now. And like Chad's case was like, I tried doing these videos, my wife's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? So go through the book. It's only $19.95. If you can't afford it, there's a link to get it for free. Go get it for free if you have to, and then go sell something and buy it later. I just want to make sure you get that resource, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll talk soon.
If I could have read this book immediately when I got started in this industry, this would have changed everything.
I'm able to charge, 3-4 times what I was before. I've done 4 sales. I've closed 4 sales since reading his book.
Through things I learned from Marcus, I was able to go ahead and in my next sales meeting negotiate a much better deal for myself, about an extra $1,000.
And it just opened my eyes. I finally had a path that I could follow. And once I had that, I took that and then used that for my next sales pitch. And I quoted them my full price. The client didn't bat an eye, and it was awesome.